My name is Cameron Sinclair. I'm the co-founder of Architecture for Humanity, and we provide architectural and construction services to communities around the world. At the moment, we're working in 22 countries, and we're building everything from schools, homes, to small villages post-disaster.
And what's going on in that? What went on in that?
I think the main conversation is the debate about the future of social design. We kind of defined what it is. It's a growing practice. It's been around a decade or so, and now it's at a moment where it needs to mature, and a lot of people are looking to create a career out of it. And unless we kind of create the framework and the basis of how you operate, then it's always going to be outside of the industry. So it's how do we make it part of the core of what designers do.
And you know what's interesting is there seemed to be some dissent to that idea. Do you have any comment on that? Can you characterize the sort of the dissent and what the thread of the conversation was?
I think the dissent in the conversation is that some people feel that a designer needs to work as a for-profit designer and then occasionally do non-profit work, and that the work that they're bringing in the for-profit will be relevant to the non-profit. I disagree. I actually think that you have to have specific skill set to work in the field, and bring in kind of corporatized, often Western notions of how design is done can be disruptive, and at best and at worst it can be a detriment to a community. So you know, this is something with a lot of commitment, a lot of passion, a lot of dedication, and yes, we can have a crossover between for-profit and non-profit, but the real practitioners are ones who are going to have to dedicate their career towards it.
That's fabulous. I like that. And actually, there's one specific question for you, which is, what are some successful and sustainable organizational models? Can you give us some examples of what works?
You know, there have been a couple of national and a couple of international organizations that have done very successful work. There is the Heritage Foundation in Pakistan, run by Yasmin Lari, who's an architect, who retired and decided when she retired she was going to do some social impact work, and has gone on to do a decade of incredible work in the foothills of the Swat Valley and doing low-income kind of self-built housing. There's a lot of great young firms like Elemental in Chile that are finding out that kind of relationship between almost low profit and non-profit work. So there's kind of an interlink between kind of lower middle class and lower class work. And then, you know, without trying to be humble, I think our organization has grown rapidly. We now have offices in 5 countries. We have chapters in 60 cities. And the success has been not due to the quality of our work. It's because our organization has evolved as the industry has evolved. That we're not just a design services organization, but we're doing construction management, and we're looking at systemic change in communities that are kind of overarching, so not just in a post-disaster situation. I think there's also failures that are rarely documented. So I actually think there's a skewed belief in success, and I think if we're going to be honest about whether this is a viable enterprise, we have to be honest in reporting our successes and our failures. So, you know, I think we have a batting average of around 74% in terms of successful projects, which is high, but when you're dealing with people that are not looking just to improve their lives, but it really is a matter of survival, 74% is not good enough. And we have to figure out ways that when we go into a community, we make a commitment that we try and hit as 100% as possible in making sure that we implement our promises.
That's brilliant. I appreciate your time.
No problem, no problem.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.